Shadows that stalk, real-life terrors unleashed. Hashtag story 1. The shadow in the mirror. In the dim light of my bathroom, I stared at my reflection, noticing something off. The eyes looking back weren't mine. They blinked when I didn't. A chill ran down my spine as the figure smiled, revealing jagged teeth. I turned away, but the mirror whispered my name softly. Heart pounding, I fled to my bedroom, slamming the door shut. But the whispers followed, echoing from every reflective surface. Windows, picture frames, even the polished doorknob mocked me. Sleep evaded me as shadows danced unnaturally on the walls. Morning came, but the nightmare persisted in broad daylight. My phone screen showed the same grinning face staring back. Friends thought I was paranoid when I smashed every mirror. Yet the entity grew stronger, feeding on my fear. Weeks later, isolation consumed me. I avoided all reflections. One night, in desperation, I looked into a puddle outside. The shadow reached out, pulling me into its watery depths. Now I whisper from the other side, waiting for you. They say mirrors are portals, but I learned the hard way. If you hear your name from glass, don't look back. The unfiltered truth is that some nightmares never end. Listen closely, it might be calling you next. Hashtag story 2. The forgotten dollhouse. As a child, I found an old dollhouse in the attic, covered in dust. The tiny figures inside seemed almost alive, their eyes following me. I played for hours, arranging scenes of twisted family life. That night, screams echoed from the attic, faint but real. Waking up, I discovered my family posed like the dolls. Father in the chair, mother at the stove, frozen in place. The dollhouse mirrored our home exactly, down to the cracks. Touching it, I felt a pull, as if my soul was being drawn in. Escaping the house, I ran to the neighbors for help. But they too were stiff, eyes glassy like porcelain. The town fell silent, everyone trapped in eternal poses. I realized the dollhouse was a curse, controlling reality. Hiding in the woods, I burned the accursed toy. Flames roared, but the dolls laughed through the fire. My body stiffened as the last embers died out. Now I'm a figure in someone's new game. True nightmares hide in innocent playthings. If you find a dollhouse that watches back, destroy it. But remember, some curses can't be burned away. The whispers from the grave pull strings eternally. Hashtag story 3. The endless staircase. Climbing the office stairs late at night, I felt disoriented. Each flight led to another, numbers repeating endlessly. Sweat dripped as I ascended, calling for help in vain. The air grew thick, shadows lengthening on the walls. Descending brought no relief. The loop continued downward. My phone died, plunging me into flickering emergency lights. Whispers urged me to keep going, promising an exit. Exhaustion set in, but stopping meant facing the darkness. Hours turned to days. Thirst clawed at my throat. I found scratches on the walls, my own handwriting begging. The staircase twisted, defying physics and logic. A figure appeared below, mimicking my every move. Finally I collapsed, accepting the infinite prison. The whispers revealed it was my guilt manifesting. Trapped forever in regret's spiral. Escape was never an option. Nightmares like this remind us of inner mazes. Stairs loop, question your sins first. The unfiltered truth ascends from buried fears. Whispers from the grave echo in every step. Hashtag story 4. The whispering woods. Walking through the forest at dusk, branches rustled unnaturally. Voices murmured secrets, names of the lost and forgotten. I quickened my pace, but the path looped back repeatedly. Trees leaned in, their bark etched with pleading faces. Deeper in, the whispers grew louder, recounting my sins. Childhood lies, betrayals, all exposed in the wind. Roots tripped me, hands emerging from the soil. I screamed, but the forest absorbed my cries. Night fell, stars hidden by the canopy's grasp. Figures materialized, decayed and vengeful spirits. They pulled me underground into earthen tombs. Breath faded as dirt filled my lungs. Waking buried alive, I clawed toward the surface. But the whispers laughed. It was all a cycle. Forever trapped in nature's judgmental embrace. The woods remember everything. True nightmares thrive in silent places. If trees speak your name, run and don't look back. Unfiltered horrors root deep in the soul. Grave whispers bloom in the dark. ## Story 5. The Cursed Painting. In the antique shop, a portrait caught my eye, eyes piercing. The woman depicted seemed to plead for release. I bought it, hanging it in my living room proudly. That night, her expression changed to one of malice. Waking to scratches on my arms, I blamed sleepwalking. But the painting's background shifted, showing my home. Figures emerged from the canvas, stepping into reality. I tried to remove it, but it clung like living flesh. Fire wouldn't burn it. Water made it bleed ink. The woman whispered commands, controlling my actions. Friends visited, vanishing into the painted world. Isolation turned to madness as I joined them. Trapped in oils and strokes, I became the subject. Now I stare out, waiting for the next buyer. The cycle continues, art devouring souls. Beware the gaze that follows. Nightmares frame themselves in beauty. If a painting watches, cover it forever. Unfiltered truths hide in strokes of genius. Whispers from the grave canvas eternity. ## Story 6. The Haunted Melody. Hearing a tune on an old radio, it stuck in my head. Notes twisted, evoking forgotten childhood fears. Humming it, objects moved on their own accord. The melody spread, infecting those around me. Neighbors sang it mindlessly, eyes vacant and hollow. Streets filled with the eerie chorus at midnight. Trying to silence it, I smashed the radio. But the sound persisted, emanating from within. Deafening myself brought no peace. Vibrations lingered. Visions of composers long dead appeared, demanding play. The song consumed my thoughts, erasing identity. Surrender came as I conducted the invisible orchestra. Now the melody plays through me eternally. It seeks new hosts to perpetuate the curse. Silence is an illusion in this symphony. The grave hums its dirge. True nightmares resonate in harmony. If a tune haunts, plug your ears tight. Unfiltered horrors compose in minor keys. Whispers from the grave note every fear. ## Story 7. The Mirror Maze. At the carnival, the mirror maze beckoned mysteriously. Reflections multiplied, distorting my form grotesquely. Laughter echoed, but I was alone in the labyrinth. Turning corners led to dead ends of infinite selves. One reflection didn't mimic. It moved independently. It approached, hand outstretched through the glass. Panic surged as more rebels emerged from mirrors. They whispered plans to replace the original. Smashing glass cut my hands, but the maze reformed. Blood trails led to a central chamber of horrors. There my doppelgangers feasted on lost souls. I joined unwillingly, becoming one of them. Now I lure others into the reflective trap. The carnival travels, spreading the curse. Escape is a shattered dream. Mirrors lie always. Nightmares reflect inner fractures. If mazes call, stay in the light. Unfiltered truths distort in silver. Grave whispers bounce eternally. ## Story 8. The Abandoned Asylum. The Abandoned Asylum. Exploring the old asylum. Doors creaked open invitingly. Patient records scattered. Tales of madness inscribed. Apparitions wandered halls, reliving tortures past. I felt their pain seeping into my veins. Screams pierced the silence, names called accusingly. Locked rooms unlocked, revealing electroshock relics. Ghostly hands restrained me to rusted beds. Visions of lobotomies played in my mind. Escaping corridors that shifted like sanity. Nurses in white pursued, syringes gleaming. The building breathed, walls pulsing with life. Commitment was inevitable. Trapped in padded cells of eternity. Madness claims all intruders. The asylum never releases. Whispers diagnose doom. True nightmares institutionalize fear. If asylums beckon, heed the warning. Unfiltered horrors prescribe pain. Grave whispers echo treatments. ## Story 9. The Possessed Puppet. A ventriloquist's dummy found in trash, strings intact. Its mouth moved slightly, uttering garbled words. Practicing routines, it responded unscripted. Laughter turned sinister, jokes on my demise. Nights, it wandered the house, eyes glowing red. Family pets vanished, blamed on the puppet. Commands issued from wooden lips controlled me. Performances drew crowds, unaware of the possession. The dummy's history revealed a cursed soul trapped. Attempts to destroy it rebounded harmfully. It multiplied, creating an army of miniatures. Overrun, I became the puppet. Strings pull from beyond the veil. The show must go on forever. Applause drowns screams. Curtains never fall. Nightmares animate the inanimate. If puppets speak, cut the strings. Unfiltered truths carve wood deep. Grave whispers ventriloquize terror. ## Story 10. The Spectral Train. Boarding a midnight train. Compartments empty save echoes. Whistles blew mournfully, tracks leading to nowhere. Passengers appeared, translucent and sorrowful. Stories of derailments whispered in my ear. The conductor punched tickets to the afterlife. Stops at graveyards, souls embarking silently. Trying to exit, doors sealed with ethereal locks. The journey accelerated into abyssal tunnels. Visions of crashes replayed in windows. My reflection aged rapidly, life draining. The train's engine pulsed like a heart. Destination, eternal void. Disembarking impossible. Rails loop infinitely. Now a passenger waiting for company. Whistles call the lost. Tracks end in darkness. True nightmares ride on steel. Trains whisper miss the ride. Unfiltered horrors conduct fate. Grave whispers derail dreams. ## Story 11. The Cursed Diary. Finding a leather-bound diary in an old trunk. Entries detailed horrors from centuries ago. Writing in it, my words morphed into prophecies. Futures foretold came true, twisted and dark. Pages filled with blood ink staining fingers. The diary demanded more confessions nightly. Refusing brought apparitions of past owners. They haunted, urging eternal documentation. Burning it reformed from ashes and scathed. Entries predicted my own gruesome end. Madness ensued as reality bent to script. Final page sealed my fate. Bound in leather of souls. Words eternalize torment. Closures never come. Ink flows forever. Nightmares chronicle themselves. Diaries beckon, leave blank. Unfiltered truths pen pain. Grave whispers scribe secrets. ## Story 12. The Phantom Photographer. An antique camera clicked on its own accord. Photos developed showing future deaths vividly. Subjects posed in agony, unaware of doom. Snapping more revealed my own impending horror. Lens captured spirits lurking in backgrounds. Developing room filled with ghostly presences. Attempts to smash it repaired miraculously. Images came to life, escaping frames. The photographer's curse transferred to me. Every shot stole a piece of soul. Gallery of nightmares expanded daily. Exhibition of eternal suffering. Focus sharpens fear. Shutters close on light. Negatives invert reality. Flash blinds forever. True nightmares develop in dark. Cameras click alone, shatter lenses. Unfiltered horrors expose souls. Grave whispers frame fates. ## Story 13. The Buried Alive. Waking in a coffin. Nails scratching wood futilely. Air thinned, panic rising with each breath. Bells above ground silent, no rescue coming. Memories of betrayal flashed in darkness. Soil pressed heavy, muffling desperate screams. Insects crawled, companions in the grave. Time stretched, hallucinations of freedom taunted. Resignation came as oxygen depleted. But death evaded, curse of immortality bestowed. Centuries passed in earthen prison. Voices from above teased with life. Eternal entombment. Dirt claims all eventually. Boxes confine spirits. Bells toll silently. Graves hold secrets. Nightmares bury deep. Coffins call claw out. Unfiltered truths suffocate. Whispers from the grave echo endlessly. ## Story 14. The demonic clock. A grandfather clock ticked backwards ominously. Hands reverse time, youth fading rapidly. Midnight chimes summoned shadowy figures. Gears ground with souls' cries embedded. Stopping it accelerated the reversal. Ages regressed to infancy, then beyond. Ancestors appeared, reclaiming lost years. The clock's face smiled malevolently. Repairmen vanished into its wooden depths. Time looped, reliving horrors repeatedly. Eternity trapped in ticking torment. Hands never still. Mechanisms mock mortality. Chimes herald doom. Pendulums swing fate. Cogs crush hope. True nightmares wind backwards. If clocks reverse, smash faces. Unfiltered horrors tick-tock. Grave whispers time death. ## Story 15. The vampiric vine. Vines crept through windows, thorns dripping red. They wrapped limbs, siphoning blood slowly. Garden bloomed with victims' withered forms. Roots delved deep into cursed soil. Pruning regrew stronger, vengeful tendrils. Flowers whispered temptations to approach. Nightly feedings drained vitality away. Blossoms opened, revealing fanged mouths. The vine's origin, ancient burial ground. It fed on the living to nourish dead. Entanglement inevitable for intruders. Thorns eternalize pain. Growth strangles light. Petals hide poison. Stems bind souls. Roots anchor agony. Nightmares entwine fate. If vines invade, burn roots. Unfiltered truths thorn deep. Grave whispers bloom blood. ## Story 16. The ghostly galleon. A ship appeared on foggy seas, sails tattered. Crew skeletal manning decks eternally. Boarding it pulled into cursed voyages. Waves whispered tales of drowned sailors. Storms raged perpetually. Lightning illuminating horrors. Captain's log detailed mutinies and plagues. Escape attempts led to plank walks. The galleon sailed abyssal depths. Treasures aboard tempted but claimed souls. Mermaids lured with siren songs below. Voyage looped through time's tempests. Anchors never dropped. Hulls hide haunts. Decks creak curses. Masts pierce skies. Sails billow doom. True nightmares navigate night. If ship's ghosts stay ashore. Unfiltered horrors sail silent. Grave whispers wave warnings. ## Story 17. The sorcerer's shadow. My shadow detached, moving autonomously. It committed atrocities in my name nightly. Sunlight weakened it, but nights empowered. Mirrors showed it plotting independence. Binding spells failed, empowering rebellion. The shadow grew, engulfing light sources. Allies turned foes under its influence. Darkness became its kingdom. Merging back demanded sacrifice of self. Eternal dance of light and dark ensued. Shadows whispered victories over form. Detachment permanent. Outlines betray owners. Silhouettes scheme silently. Shades swallow substance. Forms fade forever. Nightmares cast long. If shadows stray, seek sun. Unfiltered truths darken days. Grave whispers eclipse existence. ## Story 18. The infernal inferno. Flames erupted from nowhere. Heat intangible. They burned memories, erasing loved ones. Fire spread internally, scorching soul. Ashes reformed into fiery apparitions. Extinguishing fueled greater blazes. Inferno whispered incendiary secrets. World ignited in personal hellscape. Embers eternalized torment. The source. Cursed match struck unwittingly. Blazes consumed reality layer by layer. Rebirth in fire promised but lied. Scorched forever. Sparks start sagas. Blazes blind beliefs. Coals crush comforts. Fires forge fears. True nightmares kindle quietly. Flames whisper douse dreams. Unfiltered horrors heat hearts. Grave whispers smoke signals. Hashtag story 19. The Labyrinthine Library. Bookshelves shifted, trapping in endless aisles. Tombs whispered forbidden knowledge. Pages turned alone, revealing curses. Librarians ghostly, enforcing silence. Reading aloud summoned literary monsters. Stories came alive, devouring readers. Exits illusionary, leading deeper. Knowledge burdened eternally. The library's heart, ancient grimoire pulsing. Spells bound souls to shelves. Volumes multiplied, overwhelming minds. Chapters closed fates. Bindings break barriers. Inks inscribe ills. Shelves shield secrets. Pages perpetuate pain. Nightmares shelve sanity. Library's labyrinth leave lore. Unfiltered truths turn tales. Grave whispers index infinities. Hashtag story 20. The eternal echo. Voices repeated thoughts, amplifying fears. Echoes distorted, creating auditory horrors. Silence sought, but reverberations persisted. Sources traced to inner voids. Amplification drove madness, loops unending. Echoes manifested as physical entities. They mimicked, mocking every move. Isolation intensified the chorus. The curse. Ancient caverns resonance absorbed. Echoes eternalized in ethereal forms. Breaking free demanded deafening self. Reverberations remained. Sounds sustained suffering. Repeats ruin realities. Vibrations vex voids. Waves wash woes. True nightmares resonate relentlessly. Echoes haunt mute minds. Unfiltered horrors amplify anguish. Whispers from the grave echo evermore.